outdoor track meets in the world. We've had 7 world records at the Reggie over the years. There have been 10 American records, and we have before us now 4 of the minors who will be running tomorrow afternoon, early evening. And it's just a fabulous, fabulous mile field. Last year, 8 of 9 broke 4 minutes. In 2006, 11 guys went under 4 minutes at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix, and that was the most ever in indoor history. So we expect a lot out of these guys. We have Nick Willis, closest to me, the silver medalist from the 2008 Olympic Games. I think opened your season with the 3:55 back home just recently, so Nick is showing great form already this season. We also have Galen Rupp next to him, a late entrant. Delighted that Galen joined us. He's been here the last couple of years, 3rd in 2012 at the mile in 3:57. He was 2nd last year in the 3,000 at 7:33. Been on a tear this January over at BU with American records at the 2-mile and the 5,000 meters. And again, delighted he joined us late. And then next to him is Leo Manzano. Leo, a 2-time Olympian. He was a silver medalist in 2012 in London, 2-time U.S. indoor 1,500 meter champion. And on the outside, Lopez, Lomong, a 2-time U.S. 1,500 meter champion, a finalist in the 2012 Olympic Games at 5,000, and the flag bearer from 2008 on the U.S. team. So just a great lineup, and many others in this field worthy of note as well. Nick, let's begin. You're closest. Tell me about the 3:55, of course, outdoors back home. How's your season tuning up? Toward what? You're going to Poland for the World Indoors. Welcome.
Thank you for having me here. I think it's my 7th time racing at this meet. 2003 was the first time, so I feel like one of the oldest statesmen. But no, the year's been going really well. We had a really enjoyable time back in New Zealand, showing off the grandkid to all the family back home. But had some nice weather and a couple of good races at the end there with a 3:55 and a 1:5800. So just to show that the endurance is obviously a little bit better than the speed at that stage. But Poland at the World Champs is the main goal, and things seem to be tracking towards trying to get on a podium or as high as possible there. So that's what Ronnie and I are shooting for, and this is a great opportunity to race on a familiar track. I haven't been indoors for a few years now, and I've won this race twice before, so I'll be trying to get my 3rd one.
Galen, next up, boy, what a kind of close the door on your season. It's already been a big success. Congratulations on those records. Got a late entrant. You were going to run at Boston University tomorrow. Instead, you changed your plan and you're running here at the Reggie, and we're delighted, of course, to have you. How was that decision made?
Yeah, I think that, obviously my initial plan was to go after the world record and American record in the mile, but after thinking things over and, talking with my coaches, I just thought that, we had to kind of get back to what the ultimate goal of this indoor season was going to be. And for us, it was a world indoor meet and the U.S. Championships in Albuquerque as well. And when we took all that into consideration, I thought that, the best thing to prepare me for those is that I needed to get in a competitive race and not just keep running by myself and, kind of these record attempts. So that was what led to the decision to run here, and I'm real happy and, thankful that the meet was able to make room for me. I think it's going to be a great race, and I'm running against these guys. The competition just doesn't get any better, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Beautiful. Leo, a lot of times in our sport, you see, except for the World Championships, the Olympic Games, it's hard to get everyone on the same page at the same place. Where are you? So here's Nick, who's already run 3:55, and Galen, seemingly sharp as a tack. Where are you as you come into the Reggie tomorrow?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's an honor and pleasure to be here with you guys. So I've been in Mexico for about a month doing altitude training, and just last week I had a time trial in 2:20.9. So I think I'm in a pretty good place right now in my training, and I'm really excited to be coming here and racing these guys. And this is going to be my first race this year, and my first race in about a year in indoor track. So I'm excited to see what I can do.
A big test. And Lopez, how do you find yourself coming into this race? And what's your goal, and what's your ultimate goal for this indoor season?
Again, thank you for having me here in this fantastic place. And I think myself is, I'm just going to go out there and run with these guys. And so I opened my indoor season a little bit in Albuquerque. I ran 4 minutes there. and so like about 10 days ago. So I think I'm in a pretty good position right now to go out there and be competitive. Again, it's a great field. It's going to be good times, and it's going to go out there and put myself in a great position to run a mile. So consider myself around the 5,000 meter right now. Not too short to run, you know, but I would like to go on get a good one and then before the USA Championship and onto the World Championship. So
Let me open it up to the floor. Questions from the floor? David?
Hey, Galen, how are you? You're a 10,000 meter runner, but very gifted at the mile. What's the sensation for you? What does it feel like to be on the track with that incredible turnover? And what is it? How do you feel about being in this race against such a strong group where it's going to be elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder, top speed?
Well, as far as the competition, I mean, that was the whole reason I wanted to run here, was to run against these guys and really see how I stack up against them. You know, we got 2 silver medalists here. Lopez obviously is won several U.S. championships, so, you know, again, the competition really doesn't get any better. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how I stack up against them. You know, it's going to definitely be a challenge and a hard race, but I think that this is what I need to do, you know, for my preparation for Albuquerque and you know, hopefully the World Championships as well. So that was the whole reason of coming here. And you know, as far as being a 10,000 meter runner, you know, I don't think that just because your focus might be on the longer distances, that's any reason not to be able to run a mile well, run 800 well. That's always been our philosophy, is that, you know, the reality is that these World Championship Olympic level meets, you got to be able to run pretty fast the last mile, and you got to be able to kick. And so speed has always been something that we've always put a big emphasis on. And, you know, some other guys might not run it, but I think that a lot of the top distance runners, like, if you put them, you know, 5K, 10K guys, look at what Mo did last summer in the 1500. I mean, it's there's no reason why you can't run fast a mile. You know, our training is all geared towards being able to kick at the end of races, and you know, the indoor season just gives us, I think, a great opportunity to practice that and challenge ourselves in those shorter distances.
Ron Warhurst for a long time. As an athlete develops, do you see it still as a coach-athlete relationship, as an advisor relationship with an athlete? How do you explain it?
I guess different seasons and different times, our relationship is different in terms of who sets the workouts or who plans out the weeks, but even when I'm on the other side of the world, I'm so excited to do a good workout so I can call him up and hear how excited he can be. But really everything that I come up with is stuff that he helped teach me. I've been with him, I think this is my 14th year now, so I didn't really know much about running before that. Although I like to think that I make up a huge percent in my schedule, it's all stuff that he's taught me, and then I'll bounce it off of him and make sure it's alright. But this time now, it's about twice a week we get together for workouts that he will pretty much say what we're going to do, but that he trusts that I'll know how far I should do on all my other days, and he just asks me how my mileage is going as opposed to what I should be doing those other days. And people who know me, I prefer that flexibility. I got a kid, I got a family, I got other stuff in my life which I take priority over my running, so I can fit my running into my life as opposed to my life around my running.
Ask you, one of the things, like Nick just said, he's with Ron for 14 years. Galen was 14 years or so with Alberto as well. It's been a long time. It's such a fine line between getting yourself in top form without going over that edge. How do you, that's really the game, I think, at your guys' level. I mean, the most you can do without compromising yourself. How do you play that? On a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, month-to-month? How do you schedule that out to try to push yourself just enough where you can compete at the highest levels without breaking down?
Well, I definitely think that one of the things that I like to do is I like to keep everything fresh. So, for example, I like to get away and just focus on my training. Of course, you have to look at your schedule and kind of see what races you're going to do, and so that way you can prep the way you need to prep and fit your workouts in correctly. So that way you're not A, you're not burnt out, or B, you're not overtrained. So, for example, I was in Mexico for a month. And at the beginning, I was doing a lot of base work, and then towards the end, I started doing a lot of sharpening up work. So.
You've been a 1,500 meter man, you were Olympic finalist in 5,000 meters. Which race do you prefer, and what's your goal this year?
I think my coach and I, we kind of talk about that we put everything on the table, that we are more focusing on the 5,000 this year. And also, like, you know, if we're able to jump into the 1,500, kind of like sharpen up a little bit. But, you know, I'm not getting younger, I'm getting older. And I think 5,000 will be a little better for me to, because I got like a little strength. And we're just going to go out and try to sharpen up as much as we can and add up a little bit mileage in a week, you know, by 5 or 10 miles. And, you know, hopefully be running about 9 miles a week and see how I can be able to do in the world stage and maybe break down a little bit my PRs and stuff. So yeah, 5,000 is the ultimate goal this year now, of course.
Hello. I saw a comment from Alberto earlier this week that he made to the Oregonian about the goal for you this weekend is to break and set the indoor mile record. I just was curious on what your reaction to that was and what kind of pressure you feel it puts on you.
I mean, I think initially my plan was to run at Boston University and try to go after the world record there, give it a shot. But you know, right here, honestly, my main focus is just to compete. I'm not worried about time at all. You know, we can run 4 minutes, we can run 4:10, we can run 3:50, whatever it is, it is. I'm really just looking forward to getting in a good race and just racing these guys. You know, fast time definitely I think could be possibility here, but my main focus is really just to get in there and compete and see how I, you know, hold my ground against these guys.
So that's not necessarily the goal then?
What?
It's not necessarily the goal.
Yeah,
No. My main goal here is to just work on racing and work on my finish.
David.
All right, Lopez, who's the favorite in this race? Who's the favorite in this race?
Always favorite in this race? You know, I think that, you know, 4 of us here, you know, we all have, you know, ran very fast times like that. I think we could have been, you know, 10 of us here because I think everybody lining up in that race tomorrow have a shot of winning the race. And so for me, I never single people out. It's going to be a winner. It's going to be not competitive enough. I think we all have a shot to win the race when you put yourself in the right position to run the race. So for me, I just kind of go out there and take out of business as much as I always do, trying to put myself in a position to hopefully win the race and run the 31st times or slow time, whatever. And I mean, I think these guys, you know, I just speak for myself. I think everybody have a shot to run the race, to win the race tomorrow. 10 of us. So.
One more.
How about the other 3? Anyone willing to come up with a favorite?
I think we'd all bet on ourselves, honestly. I mean, I think anybody up here would be lying if they said that, you know, they weren't confident going into this race. None of us, and I don't think anybody in the field is going to go in and think that somebody else is a favorite to win. We all think that we have a great shot, and we're all going to do our best to try to break the tape.
Well, Nick, you've run here quite often. Assess the track and the facility compared with other indoor facilities you've competed in.
It was the first ever banked track that I'd run on as a collegiate athlete, and what I liked about it was the slopes weren't too steep. There's enough of a slope to stop you from getting forced out into lane 2 when you're kicking hard, but it's not super steep that it doesn't dictate tactics. You can pass on the bend a lot easier. A lot of these really steep bank tracks, they might help you run faster, but it's a lot harder to pass on because of the force going down. So this allows you to pick your spots based on how the race is going as opposed to waiting for the track to open up an opportunity to pass. And the facilities also in the atmosphere gets really loud, and I'm used to seeing big banners of my sponsor up with photos of me there. It's a little bit different now that I'm returning with a different sponsor there and I'm now representing Adidas, but it'll still feel like a home track for me.
Robert?
Leo and Lopez, are you guys trying to go to World Indoors? Is that a goal for this season? And
Yes. So in the past, you know, I was with John Cook, and his philosophy was just a little bit different. He wasn't about indoors; he was mostly about outdoors. So in the past, I've always had to forfeit my place or my spot. But this year, God willing, if all goes well and I qualify, I definitely look forward to going.
Back in the day, I recall when Alberta was running and Rich Cannon and everyone, indoors used to be known as like, I don't know, for the Europeans at least, like the American circus. You couldn't be fit for the second half of the outdoor season if you were fit for the indoor season. I think in the late 80s when the IAAF instituted the World Championships, that all changed. Now it was taken seriously. It's been a throughout your long career. How is indoors, how important is this as both in and of itself, but as a setup for the rest of the year?
Sorry, Lopez. You're gonna...
Yeah, I think indoor is very as important as outdoors. You know, if you have a chance to go out and represent your nation in a world championship, of course, you know, take the chance and go out and do the best you can and run with your colors of your country. And I think we are all here, like, you know, love this country, would like to represent our nation well and be able to hopefully be good role models to other athletes and you know, in our country, to be able to go out and like have a chance to go out and represent a nation. So it's very important. So it doesn't matter if it's 6 weeks or you know, or like whatever it's like, you know, because indoors is only 6 weeks. It's very hard to get ready for it. But you know, you just have to like have to go out and represent the country.
For me, I've always trained as hard as I possibly can to try and be at a peak for indoors. But no matter what I do, for some reason, after I take my break after indoors and start outdoors again, it seems like I'm already fitter outdoors than I was indoors. It's only so fast that I seem to be able to run after having done a big block of base training. For some reason my legs are too tired, I just can't get quite the speed going by February. This year I've tried to start a little earlier to see. I think I stated last year that I was going to see if I could match my times from an outdoor track on the indoor tracks, and so hopefully the fact that I started my track work a bit earlier this year because I was a bit ahead of the game with my mileage, that I might have that opportunity, so we'll have to wait and see in the next couple of weeks.
Not that it'll ever happen, but here we are, and here they are, Sochi, the Winter Games. Should indoor track be a Winter Olympic sport? I mean, if slope style is an Olympic sport, should indoor track be an Olympic sport? It's all for it.
I don't think there's any sport where you're not sliding.
Yeah,
That is
sliding.
in the Olympics. You have to be slipping, and we don't really want to be slipping too much. So unless we're running out in Ann Arbor after 6 inches of snow this week, you seem to want to keep with the current trend of what sports are in the Olympics, and that involves some form of slipping or sliding or having a device slide along a shuffleboard.
Anybody else have an opinion on indoor track in the Olympics?
I think now, like, as you know, I think Nico already like answered the question, but I think it should be more televised. You know, I think it should be more put on a national television for people to see it. So that's just me.
Anybody else? Larry?
I'd ask, Galen, this is for you. I'd asked Nick a little bit about how his relationship has changed, having a long-time coach. You've been with Alberto since high school. Has the relationship changed? You know, you've told me you're just pretty confident and relaxed about letting him worry about certain things and you worry about the running. How do you describe your relationship?
Our relationship's definitely changed over the years. I mean, when I first started working with him, I was been like a 14-year-old kid, you know, in high school, and you know, now we're grown up, married, things like that. So our relationship's changed in that regard, you know. But as far as letting him, you know, still write the workouts, and I'd still keep that completely in his hands. I'm a little more vocal if I have an opinion on something, whether it's, you know, about mileage or changing the workouts or doing that. I'm definitely more willing to speak up now, I think, and just having been around him for so long and knowing how his training goes, I think that I've got that ability where I can, you know, talk to him intelligently about that stuff. But I still let him worry about all the workouts and mileage, and you know, he constantly is thinking about all that stuff, and you know, it's easy for me, I guess, because I just don't have to worry so much about that and just focus on my training. And you know, we've had great results over the years, and you know, I trust completely in the plan that, you know, he's had in place for me ever since I was, you know, a 14-year-old kid, and you know, I think that he's led me to great things, and hopefully, you know, that'll continue to go along.
And then a quick follow-up. Galen, you talked about this weekend not really going for a record. You want a good competitive race. So if it's a very competitive race, you guys run pretty fast, you finish second, are you going to be happy with that? Or is it, what are you trying to achieve? Is it trying to just have a very fast competitive race? What's your goal?
Well, I mean, I'd like to win the race, obviously. That's
Sure.
that's my ultimate goal. You know, I think that time would be great here, but I'm really worried about how I finish and working on my sprinting mechanics at the end of the race, and that's my main focus coming into this. Time is really a distant second to that.
Just one more question. Lopez, last year you won the Wanamaker Mile Millrose Games, and it was a thrilling experience, I think, for you. What was it like to win, a big indoor race like that?
Oh, it feels so great, especially last year. Again, that was my PR actually, running 351. It was just fantastic, and also winning in my home state, in New York, and it was just fantastic. And I mean, I think hopefully, I can be able to get a win here also. This is my first time running in Boston, and and it will be thrilling to be able to go home with W here and hopefully with a good time. Unfortunately, I will not be able to be going to Millrose this year, but hopefully next year I can be able to continue that and see what I can be able to do. So, yeah.
Lopez, let me ask you one more thing about that. Maybe just say a word about your Lopez Lomong Foundation for South Sudan. And you raised, well, $750,000, and it's a water project I know is important. I know we out in California are having a big drought, big problems. How's the foundation going, and how's the situation back home?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that question. Yeah, so I started the foundation because it was very, very close to my heart. It was a country that I haven't seen for a while, and so when I first met my mom for the first time, so I just see them like going, first out really dirty water, and they're enjoying it like that. So, and then I went all the way to the village and seeing people walk 15 and 20 miles to go get like really bad water and contaminated water and things like that. And I just wanted to do something, use my sport as a platform to be able to say what I need to be able to be accomplished. And so I brought that idea back to my friends here in the United States, my teammates, and everything like that. And now we raised about $750,000. So far, it's going really great, and we brought a lot of clean water to the villages, and many kids and girls are able to go to school instead of going to get the water. And so we try to bring the clean water to them and build schools and vocational training centers and stuff like that for the women to be able to use the kind of like vocational training, carpentry and tailoring and things like that to help themselves. But unfortunately, there is something going on in my country right now that there is a war going on, and so with our funds that we can do, we work with UNICEF and other UN agencies to get the tent and things like that into the people in the IDPs and help them fight the malaria and mosquitoes and other waterborne diseases and stuff. So yeah, so it's going really, really well. And so Austin, Eden, and I did the protocols last year, which we brought about $500,000 to the foundation. So it's just a blessing for me. It made me even better person running the circles and to do something for the people who really need. Thank you.
All right, well, we have the women coming in at like 9 minutes from now. We'll let these guys go. There'll be a breakout session that you can talk to them individually as well. But let's thank Nick and Galen and Leo and Lopez.